He was no older than 13, draped in fine cloth, trained to serve, and caught in the orbit of Rome's most powerful elites. His name is lost, but his presence lingers in the quiet corners of history. This isn't a tale of glory, it's a truth the empire tried to silence. Behind triumphs and parades were lives unseen, shaped for someone else's comfort. Rome projected an image of order, a disciplined empire of law, strength, and masculine virtue. Yet in private, its rulers curated their own realities. Youthful attendants were chosen for charm, silence, and their ability to fade into opulence. These lives were not shared. They were arranged, ritualized, and hidden in plain sight. Some were captives from foreign wars. Others were sold into service by desperate families. Many were brought from Greek cities or eastern provinces, their appearance praised, their names changed. They were given new languages, new rules, and a singular lesson. Their presence was not about selfhood, it was about impression. Elagabalus brought his companions to state events. Hadrian wept when one drowned. These aren't love stories. They're power dynamics cast in gold. A companion could be elevated, praised, even sculpted, but only on the emperor's terms. Their visibility was not proof of agency. It was a curated myth. Antinous, the Greek youth linked to Hadrian, became a god in death. Temples were built, coins minted. Yet his own voice is forever absent. What did he feel in the shadow of the world's most powerful man? History carved his face into stone, but buried everything else. Roman law prized order, but that order hinged on class. Freeborn citizens could appeal to courts, but those in service, particularly children, had no standing. Philosophers wrote about virtue, but they accepted these structures. The system wasn't broken. It was functioning as intended. For the powerful. These attendants were trained in music, language, etiquette, and obedience. They became expert readers of mood, masters of avoidance. They knew when to vanish, when to flatter, when to endure. Displeasure could end their time in the household, and sometimes their time altogether. In Senate halls, men boasted of austerity. In their estates, quiet indulgences went unchecked. Rome punished scandal, not behavior. The Lex Scantinia was designed to regulate conduct, but it mostly served as a political tool, enforced unevenly. Morality was public theater. In private, anything could happen. These lives rarely left a mark. They were erased by design, unnamed in scrolls, unseen in portraits. The few who remained remembered only through myth or scandal. The empire chose what to commemorate: conquest, architecture, legacy, never the quiet costs tucked beneath the triumph. In Athens, the dynamic between mentor and youth was debated openly, often idealized, occasionally criticized. Yet even there, the younger voice was muted. Rome inherited these customs, but stripped them of debate. In Rome, appearance was everything, and silence was built into the foundation. As Christianity rose, public morality codes stiffened. Chastity was praised, indulgence condemned. But institutional servitude endured. The rhetoric changed, but the structure didn't. Households remained hierarchical. The unseen continued to serve. Judgment fell on disclosure, not dynamics. A few companions aged into new roles: musicians, tutors, confidants. Some were freed, others replaced. Most vanished. Their lives were tied to specific moments, moods, and men. When relevance faded, so did they. Rome moved forward, unconcerned with the ones left behind. The more Rome expanded, the more it consumed. Power demanded symbols. These companions were never the story. They were decoration, function, legacy padding. And because they weren't meant to last, they weren't remembered. This was not neglect. It was design. Museums across the world hold Roman statues, graceful, youthful, idealized. Are they gods, heroes, or once living humans erased into aesthetics? We don't know. Rome perfected beauty, but left identity optional. Even memory could be curated to suit the comfort of the elite. Persian courts had eunuchs. In China, young servants could rise in status or vanish in disgrace. The pattern repeats, power surrounding itself with those expected to serve and never challenge. It wasn't just Rome. It was a legacy of empires, and it's one we still see today. What's worse, cruelty or invisibility? These boys were not hidden in dungeons. They were hidden in luxury. Their harm was disguised as privilege, their silence praised as grace. But silence is not peace, it is survival. And when enforced, it becomes a cage no less real than iron ruins crumble. Names fade, but questions persist. Who were they? What did they dream of? Did any escape and live to tell their story? We may never know, but we do know they existed, because every system leaves a shadow. And Rome's shadow is long. Place Rome in the witness box. Its triumphs are undeniable. But what of the costs? What of those who built the empire with their silence, their youth, their invisibility? If we celebrate one without acknowledging the other, are we honoring history or repeating it? This isn't about condemning a civilization, it's about completing the story. History is not just conquest and marble. It's also flesh, fear, and forgotten names. When we remember them, even without certainty, we restore what power tried to erase. We say, "You were here." What do you think? Was this just a product of its time, or a cruelty we've yet to truly face? Drop your thoughts in the comments. And if stories like this, human, hidden, haunting, matter to you, subscribe to Histoeureka. Because history is more than the victories. It's the voices we bring back from the silence. Rome honored its generals with triumphs, poets with marble busts, and emperors with temples. But these attendants left behind no monuments, no inscriptions, no names etched in stone. When they disappeared, they did so without record, not because they were unworthy, but because remembering them served no one in power. In museums today, we see statues of idealized youths, their features perfect, but their identities missing. Were they gods, heroes, or carefully crafted likenesses of real people erased for convenience? Rome perfected beauty, but often discarded biography. These faces outlived the voices that once animated them. Even Rome's moral thinkers rarely questioned the system. Seneca, advisor to Nero, wrote of reason, virtue, and control, but said little of those trapped beneath elite privilege. His silence speaks volumes. Perhaps he feared consequences, or perhaps he, like many others, considered some lives beneath commentary. Legal protections existed, but selectively. Some Roman laws punished coercive conduct, but only if the victim was a free-born citizen. Those in servitude, especially foreign-born or enslaved, had no formal path to justice. In the empire of law, protection depended on privilege, not principle. We like to believe this is ancient history, but echoes remain. In systems that still silence the vulnerable, in institutions that protect reputation over truth. Rome isn't just ruins and scrolls. It's a mirror, one we sometimes choose not to look into because its reflection is uncomfortably familiar. To retell this history is not to dwell in darkness. It's to reclaim dignity. These were human beings with thoughts, fears, dreams. They deserve more than silence. By remembering, we return agency to the forgotten. We say, "You mattered." Even if Rome wouldn't say it, we will. The story of Rome's hidden companions is not simple. It's painful, complicated, and incomplete, but it is real. And it deserves to be part of the history we share, because power built the empire, but silence paid the price. And now, it's our turn to speak.